just horrible because she was so tiny. I've never seen a baby that small. She was fit in a hand like this. The brain was not developed yet because she was so early. So she was basically born with no brain. And then they said, we have to see, and I'm like, no, I'm not accepting this. I am not accepting my current circumstances. I'm not accepting that I am going to be a special needs mom. I will change my future. I will change the life to the life that I want.
I'm here with Miriam, and she's gonna share a beautiful story of her journey with having her daughter. And I'm really looking forward to hear, because that journey with having her daughter changed a lot of things in her life and her mindset through life, I would say too. I don't know the story as whole. I just know snippets. So today I'm gonna hear the whole story, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Hi Simone, I'm so happy that you have me today and that I can share my story to really inspire women to listen to their heart and to do what their intuition tells them. So my daughter was born with only 27 weeks. So we know it's about 5 months and 3 weeks, something like that. Really early. And she was very tiny. She was teeny tiny. She was 1 pound and 8 ounces. For the ones that need grams, 680 grams. She was like, in a hand, she was fit in a hand like this.
Oh my God.
Teeny tiny. And what happened was that I had HELP syndrome. This is something that moms get sometimes. It is when it all starts with high blood pressure. It's called preeclampsia. And then a step further, this is basically what I had, is HELP syndrome, HELOP. And this is when your body does not want to be pregnant anymore and starts intoxicating the mom.
Oh, wow.
So all my organs went crazy. The liver enzymes went up, and I just was so much in pain. I had back pain like right here, and it was my first pregnancy, you know, and everybody was telling me, oh, this is normal, it just hurts a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not hurting a little bit, it's hurting really bad. But everybody was telling me it's normal. So I didn't do a whole lot in the beginning, but something was telling me I'm not really sure if this is normal, because it feels I'm so much in pain. This cannot be normal, right?
Yeah.
So I called my doctor, and they had me come in immediately. When I told her about the symptoms, I saw stars, like when you have a migraine. So it was a lot of weird things happening. And they said, come on in immediately to check out. And they knew exactly what I had, because everything that I had was basically what you find when you look up HELP syndrome. So I had to stay there. And they told me that my body wants to get rid of the baby. It's done with the pregnancy. And they are trying to hold her in the womb. But they also told me that because of everything that was happening, she has stopped growing, I believe at week 23, 24 maybe. So she was tinier than what she was supposed to be because of everything that has already happened in my body, right? So they could hold her for 10 more days, and then my blood pressure was so high that my daughter did not get enough oxygen anymore. So they had to get her out in an emergency C-section. Also a C-section because she was too weak that she could have been born by the normal way, right? So yeah, so they got her out, and they took her away. I did not see her. They wrapped her in plastic, and I got treated for 48 hours with magnesium, which was supposed to help for everything that I had. I don't remember exactly. After those 48 hours, I was able to see her, and it was just horrible because she was so tiny. I've never seen a baby that small. And you know, the doctors, they did not want to tell us what's going on. They said, yeah, she's just tiny. We need to see what happens. The brain was not developed yet because she was so early. So she was basically born with no brain, you know. And then they said, we have to see how she's going to react to the incubator. So it was all very, very scary. And I was devastated. The first time I saw her, Simone, I broke down. It was like when someone takes away the rug under your feet. I was just, you know, because I was so shocked about how she looked. And like I said, I was devastated, but she was doing okay. She was starting to eat. She was so tiny that she did not eat, but at some point she started eating, you know, a little teeny tiny bit. And in total, we spent 6 months in the NICU. But on month 4, what they did is they gave her a wrong medicine. They thought she had thrush because she had something on her tongue. And they gave her 3 different medicines for thrush, and it didn't work. And then my husband said, well, maybe it is not thrush, you know? And I didn't know. I was emotionally so broken that I didn't know what to do. And my husband said, I don't think we should give her another medicine for thrush, because if the other 3 medicines did not work, she might not have it. And then they were talking us into it. And because you're so emotional broken, you listen. So they gave her that last medicine, and it burned her mouth and esophagus. And she stopped eating, obviously, because you had the raw meat looking out of her mouth. Everything was burned, basically. And then I said, okay, I want to leave this hospital. I want to get out because I just want to go home. I want to be done with them. If we're staying longer in this hospital, they're gonna kill my little baby girl, right? So
I'm sorry to interrupt just a second. How many months was her at that point?
She was 4 months in the NICU at that point.
At the point was 4 months after the birth.
Oh, after the birth, yes. Mm-hmm. So we transferred to a children's hospital, and they placed a feeding tube, right? And then all of a sudden, I was not only a mom from a teeny tiny micro preemie baby, now I also was a special needs mom, because now we had to feed her with the tube. And all this happened in the window when babies learn how to chew, swallow, and breathe all at the same time. So that window closed, and once that window closes, babies do not learn it by instinct anymore. So you have to really train them. I'm telling you, it was just so much, you know, and then you're dealing with like postpartum depression. This all comes together. Yeah. And the thing was that I just cried, and I didn't know what to do. And you have really, really bad thoughts, believe me. Because you're so helpless, you know, you have to trust them. And what happened was, once I had cried all my tears out, and I was alone. As you hear, I have an accent, so I'm originally from Germany, from Europe. My family was in Europe. Nobody was here. My husband's family, they did not show a whole lot of interest. So I believe the whole 6 months that we have been in the NICU, his mom showed up twice, I believe. Yeah, so this was basically the support we got, right? And so I was alone. He was working, because obviously you have to pay those bills, you know? And once I had cried out all my tears, I'm like, no, you have to get yourself together. You have to be strong for her, and you know how this works. Now, what we did not say in the beginning is that I really work with the mindset. I am a mindset coach, and I teach others how they can really use the mindset to create whatever they want to create. So once I got myself together, I'm like, you know exactly how this works. You know that little babies, their subconscious mind, where the programming sits, is wide open. So you can basically programming her with whatever you want. And I'm like, no, I'm not accepting this. I am not accepting my current circumstances. I'm not accepting that I am going to be a special needs mom. Mm-hmm. I will change my future. I will change the life to the life that I want, because I have done this before with different things, right? So it was not the first time that I manifested something. I have manifested many, many, many things. And I'm like, okay, if it works with other things, it must work with my daughter too. And we were working with a lot of therapists it was 6 different therapists, and they all came in 1 week. So we had on one day 2 therapists over, and it was speech, it was development, it was physical therapy, occupational therapy. I don't know, everything what you can imagine we had for her. And then I said, okay, I will tell her that she's eating really good, because whatever I will tell her goes to her programming, and she's going to believe it because she's a baby, right? It's maybe I have to tell that we are a product of our environment. We are programmed by our parents, by our environment, by the 5 people that we hang out the most. And we continuously get programmed by the people that we hang out the most, by our environment, by social media. Whatever we accept goes directly to our programming. So I knew that, right? And I knew that whatever I'm going to tell her, I can program her with that. And this is what I did. And she was not eating. She took actually a whole year until she let me, only the mom, close to her faith, because she was so traumatized. She was really, I can't even explain in what situation it is, because you're so helpless, right? And once I got close to the mouth, then I started, guess what she started? With coffee made French vanilla. This was what she accepted. And she was just licking like this, right? Just like this. This is how we started. And then a little bit more, but she was not eating. And I always told her, I said, baby, you're eating so good, and you can eat a little bit more, and every day you're eating better. And when people were asking me, I was saying the same. How's Amaya doing? Oh, she's doing well. She's eating. Yeah, every day we're eating better. Everything, every time it's better. And she was not eating. But they didn't know that, you know? And the point is, a lot of people might say, well, you were lying. It's not about that I was lying. It's that I was programming her and myself. I knew exactly what I had to tell myself and her in order to make it happen, right?
And also from saying she's having the little thing, that was eating for her.
Yes.
That was her, she was doing that. It wasn't like 100% lying. Like you, with the little bit, you're programming her. This is how we start. You are eating.
Yes, exactly. This
You're right
is how
about that. Yeah.
You're eating, and it is fine, and you're doing better, you know? And we also were working with the therapist. So she had a lot of therapy sessions all the time. And it took a while, maybe another 6 months. So once she started letting me close to her mouth, it took maybe 6 months so that she really started eating a little teeny tiny bit, right? So I don't know what it was, mashed potatoes or something like this. And she didn't like veggies at all. She always wanted our food. So mashed potatoes, little teeny tiny bit, you know, salad sauce, dressing, and things like that. She liked very intense flavors, so she liked garlic, and what was really weird, you know. But this is what we realized. Okay, intense flavors, mint ice cream, peppermint ice cream. This was something that we also got her to eat in the beginning. And I was basically always telling her all the time how good she's eating. And then slowly but surely she started eating. And then she started to eat more. And then she started to eat more. And then she started to talk. And she was very smart. She said, when it comes to medicine, you know, she was eating all the food, but she did not want to eat the medicine. And then she always said, Mommy, that tastes bad. Just push it through my tubie. But the thing is, and I did this, you know, I'm like, yeah, I mean, she's right. If she doesn't want to take it, let's just push it through the tubie. But they do not take the feeding tube out if she does not take everything by mouth. So it took us another 6 months, I believe, until we were able to give her the medicine also by mouth, until she accepted this, you know. But it was a very long process. However, 3 weeks before her 4th birthday, she got the feeding tube out. And she goes to normal school now. And last year in September, so we had her a year below because of the feeding tube, because they suggested to have it with the smaller ones, because the bigger ones, they would be curious and would pull on the tube and stuff, you know. In September, she actually jumped up because she is developmentally completely normal. And she goes to normal school, feeding tube is out, have my normal baby. So what I want to share with this story is that no matter how hard your situation looks, you know, no matter in what situation that you are, you can always focus on really what you want the outcome is. And I know it might sound silly, and people say, well, you have been lying all the time because she wasn't eating and you told everybody she was eating. It's not about the lying part, it's about programming. I always say lie is a word that I don't like to use because it's so negative, you know. And a lot of times people also say fake it until you make it. This is not true. What I'm doing is I was basically talking to the higher self, what I saw in her, what everybody else was not seeing in her. Because I know that every single one of us, we have unlimited potential within us. But we are only looking at our current circumstances. And I have helped many, many women to bring that unlimited potential out of them by really focusing on what they want. A lot of times when we want something, we talk ourselves out of it because it seems impossible. It's beyond of what we think is even possible. Like in my case, nobody thought that the outcome would be that I have a normal baby girl. She's going to school. She's super smart and a happy girl, you know. Nobody thought that. Yeah. So I really went beyond what everybody was thinking is possible. But why did I do it? Because I focused on the outcome. I focused on this is what I want to create. And I did not let myself get influenced from my environment that I was in, from those negative opinions, from, you know, if I would have listened to the doctors, then she probably would not be where she is right now.
Yes.
You know?
So it's really like believing your mom instinct or your human instinct, either if you're a mom or no, just like, you know, listen to what you believe to be right, that courage of doing it, you programming your brain that you can do that.
Yes.
Like your daughter's story, like it's amazing. The journey, like from her having a no brain develop by the time she was born, is not only the part of the feeding that you're telling me, her brain developed also fully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's amazing.
Yeah. And I honestly believe that she's so smart because she got so much therapy in the beginning. So, you know, when you have a normal baby, you just let them be a baby.
Yes.
You know? And with her, because she was so teeny tiny, we always, I don't want to say entertained, but she always got those therapy sessions. So she always had to do something. Her brain always needed to think, you know, where other normal term babies probably, they just can be for a while and then you do your exercise, you know. But she really all day long, she had to do something. She needed
guidance. She needed the guidance to go to the next point where the babies just, you let them be and they find their way.
Yeah.
Because they already have a way to self-develop. And she had this extra guidance. So she developed it even stronger. That's amazing.
Exactly. Yeah. And we all can do this, right? So this is just one story. But what I did with her, it's always the same strategy. So no matter what you want, you can always go beyond of what you're doing right now. Like, for example, if you're in a job and then you start a business all of a sudden and you're really confident in your job, and then once you open your business and you're not so confident, you really can transfer the confidence from one thing to the other, because it's not that you need to become someone else. That new version of you, that higher self already exists. What you need to do is you just need to become aware of it.
Yeah.
And then bring it out, you know, bring it into reality. And this is what I tell the people that I work with, when they say, well, it's basically like fake it until you make it. No, it's not fake it until you make it. You're not faking anything. It's already existing deep inside of you. So you're just bringing your higher self out of you.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's a beautiful way of seeing things, because fake it until you make it has for me kind of like a negative mark on it.
It does.
But when you say I'm just bringing out the better version of me,
yes,
it's completely different, right? Has a positive approach. And this is what I want them to see, and what I also want those women to see, that even so you do not have any support, you don't need cheerleaders. You can be your own cheerleader.
Definitely.
And if you really believe it, then you can make it happen. And if you really look at all the different cultures, all the different religions, all those religions, they disagree in so many things. But every single religion teaches the same, that you need to believe, right? They all agree on that.
Yes.
And this is exactly what you need to do. You need to believe in yourself that you can make this happen.
Miriam, I would like to make a couple of questions back to the mom specific part.
Mm-hmm.
What is the most difficult decision that you have to make throughout this process, from the time you become a mom and up to today? What is the most hardest difficult decision you ever had to make?
I believe it has to do with my baby. Probably when they wanted me to make a decision if we go for a feeding tube or not, and I mean, you're like, I don't want her to have a hole in her tummy. I don't want her to have a surgery. But if I don't do this, she probably will starve to death, because she won't eat by mouth. It cannot heal. Everything is burned, right? So this was very, very scary. And seeing her so teeny tiny, they brought a stroller and put her in the surgery thing, in a stroller. So I think this was the hardest thing to do. But now looking back, I'm like, it was the right decision to do, because everything could heal,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's amazing. It's really like trusting that was the right decision to make.
Yeah.
Now, on a lighter note, what moment would you like to relive again and again, if you could?
To relive?
Yeah.
To relive, there's many. Actually, I love waking up every morning and just being able to hug her, that she's here. So I'm doing it already, because she is the most precious gift, and she showed me that you can be strong. She's such a strong little personality. And nobody would have thought, that this would be the turnout.
That's beautiful. Yes. Mm-hmm. And you can do that every day.
Yeah.
That's the best thing.
I am a person that's very, when I want something, I get it. I always get it. So also when I look back, I have probably done this unconsciously when I was younger, but I'm very determined, and the same way that I did it with my girl when I said, I'm not going to be a special needs mom. Mm-hmm. I fixed this, and I went for it. And the timeline a lot of times might not be on our terms. So in her case, it took me 4 years. I didn't want to deal with this for 4 years, but this was just what the timeline was, right? But because I am determined, I just kept going, and I'm very persistent.
Miriam, thank you so much for sharing this story with us, with me, and give me the opportunity to share this and inspire other moms going through this.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. It's really amazing. I know someone that works as a speech therapist, and mm-hmm. I bet she goes through many experiences like this mm-hmm. with other moms. And your story is very inspiring for many moms. And especially when you said on your mindset, that you said, I'm not gonna be a special needs mom.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
so I have chills. It is so empowering because you changed that. I know not always that works because sometimes the physical limitation of the child can go beyond that. But the power that you had over the situation that you have in your hands, it's amazing. It's amazing. I'm so inspired. I'm so inspired. I'm too, and I'm so happy to be able to share your story.
Oh, and I'm so happy to be able to share that with your audience, with your listeners, because I really want them to see, no matter what people tell you, you can really change the outcome, you know. And doctors are not always right. I mean, I know another mom, they told her that her baby never would gonna be eating, and she did the same. I told her my story. She believes she started doing things, and the baby is eating, you know.
There you go. You're already inspiring people.
So it is possible.
It is.